awake for work tomorrow. After all, it would be a shame if I didn't preserve my reputation as an industrious part-time employee at Eli's Natural Foods. I might be especially glad for this job if I ended up a maidel. Being single was a concern for any young Amish woman, but I supposed it wasn't the worst thing not to have a husband, even though I'd cared for Henry quite a while already. Sometimes it was just hard to tell if the feelings were mutual, perhaps because he was reticent by nature. In spite of that, he was a kind and faithful companion, and mighty good at playing volleyball, too. If nothing more, I knew I could count on quiet Henry to be a devoted friend. He was as dependable as the daybreak. Too restless to sleep, I rose and walked the length of the hallway. The dim glow from the full moon cast an eerie light at the end of the house, down where the dormers jutted out at the east end. From the window, I stared at the deserted yard below, looking for any sign of Mama, but the road and yard were empty. Downstairs, the day clock began to chime, as if on cue. Mama had stilled the pendulum, stopping the clock on the hour she learned her beloved sister Naomi had passed away, leaving it unwound for months. Now the brassy sound traveled up the steep staircase to my ears, 12 lingering chimes. Something about the marking of hours in the deep of night disturbed me. I paced the hall, scooting past the narrow stairs leading to the 3rd story, where Adam and Joe slept in 2 small rooms, safely out of earshot of Mama's mysterious comings and goings. Was that such a sound sleeper that he didn't hear Mama's footsteps? What would cause her to be so restless? I'd asked myself a dozen times. Yet, as much as I longed to be privy to my mother's secrets, something told me I might come to wish I never knew. Chapter 1. April in bird in hand was heralded by brilliant sunrises and brisk, tingling evenings. Every thicket was alive with new greenery, and streams ran swift and clear. Known for its fertile soil, the idyllic town nestled between the city of Lancaster on the west and the village of Intercourse to the east. In spite of the encroachment of townhomes and newly developed subdivisions on nearly all sides, the fertile farmland remained as appealing to outsiders as it did to Judah Byler and his farming neighbors. Judah's big, white, clapboard house was newer than most of the farmhouses in the area. Its double chimney and sweeping gables lent an air of style to the otherwise ordinary siding and black-shuttered windows. He'd drawn up the plans 20-some years before, after he took as his bride Letty Esch, the prettiest girl in the church district. They'd lived with relatives for the first few months of their marriage, receiving numerous wedding gifts as they visited, until the house was completed with the help of his father and brothers. Eyeing the place now, Judah was pleased the exterior paint was still looking good from 3 summers ago. He could put all of his energies into lambing this spring. It was still coat weather, and he breathed in the peppery scent of black earth this morning as he went to check on his new lambs again. He had risen numerous times in the night to make sure the ewes were nursing their babies. He walked to the sheep barn, groggily recalling the day he'd carried Letty's things up the stairs to the 2nd floor, to the room that was to become their own, as husband and wife, he thought wryly. Momentarily he considered Letty's current dejected state, wondering if he shouldn't stay put today. But on second thought, he could not endure more questions from Adam or furtive glances from Grace. His eldest daughter had slipped into the barn last night and tried to hide in the shadows as if wanting to inquire about Letty too. Grace is as perceptive as her big brother is bold. At 22, Adam was the oldest of their foursome, and then Grace, followed by 19-year-old Amanda, their Mandy, and 15-year-old Joseph, whom they called Joe. All of them still at home, and mighty plain clear down to their toes. Adam had joined church 2 years ago, and Grace last September, along with Mandy, who'd always wanted to be baptized with her only sister. He was thankful indeed for his God-fearing offspring, having been privy to some of the